Well, the Broncos quarterback, franchise quarterback, Bo Nix, is not going to be participating in the Pro Bowl as he was one of the alternates that would have been able to participate due to a minor surgery that he had previously scheduled and is known as a cleanup procedure. We're going to talk about what exactly does that mean. Is there any cause for concern? And we'll talk about some other coaching news because there's a couple other newsworthy items to talk about regarding the Denver Broncos. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Mark here, Marky Sports. Subscribe to the channel if you love Denver sports, if you love the NFL draft. I got a lot of great film reviews and more content coming up in that regards. And be sure to like the video, man. It'll help me out quite a bit. All right, well, let's get right into it, guys, because this news kind of took me by surprise. Now, am I overly concerned? Not necessarily, right? But whenever you see a situation like this, it's always going to cause a little bit of pause, in my opinion, because what ends up happening is you think, okay, was it actually previously scheduled? Is it actually minor? And what part of the body is it? So Broncos quarterback Bo Nix is not going to go to the Pro Bowl because of a previously scheduled minor postseason cleanup procedure, per Mike Kliss. He had talked about it. He did play through the end of the season with a transverse process fracture. We already know, but I don't know if it has something to do with his back. I would assume it does as a cleanup, but typically cleanup procedures have to do usually in your knee or your ankle. But anyways, all things, considered, and from what I'm reading regarding this news, if there's anything else we find out, we will, you'll find it here, no doubt about it. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. It's a little bit of cause for concern. In other news, the Broncos have let go of inside linebacker coach Greg Minuski, right? And I think this is probably a little bit surprising. First of all, the timing is a little bit weird. Kind of took a minute, right? But as you can see here per Mike Kliss, that Greg Minuski is let go. Now, here, we can go through a couple of different things. Firstly, I remember, Greg Minuski was originally one of the favorites right off the bat to get hired as the inside linebackers coach. If I remember correctly, I believe he's a local guy. He lives here in Denver, very well respected. He's been, he's been with in the league for a long time. He's actually probably, I think this was his second stint with the Broncos. As I go back and look, no, this was actually his first stint with the Broncos. So that's good. But he's always kind of been an inside linebackers coach for many years, dating back to, San Francisco, even before that. Even he was with the Redskins back in 2001, and he was a defensive coordinator. A ton of experience. Kind of concerning as to why he was let go. It's just a little bit weird because it's not like our inside. In fact, you can make the argument that our inside linebackers overachieved this year. And you can say that maybe he did a good job. And this is one of those things where I think maybe, it kind of goes hand in hand with what we've been thinking about the relationship between Sean Payton and Vance Joseph. I don't know if it's the best relationship. I don't think it's bad, and I definitely think they can make it work. But maybe he's saying, all right, we've got to make a couple of changes on the defensive side of the ball for whatever reason. So it's a little bit weird. But anyways, what does that leave us to? Now, the Broncos need to fill the special coordinator role. So they need a special teams coordinator. They need a tight end coach. They need a pass game coordinator. And they need an inside linebacking coach. And the asterisk on Mike Kliss's previously shown tweet was they're waiting on special teams assistant Chris Banjo, who has interest from the Jets and others. So there's a possibility that he's gone. Like I said, we talked about it before. There's a possibility that he can get elevated into the full-time special teams role. So the way I look at it is this, man. I think it's one of those situations where it sucks to lose coaches, especially when you feel like the coaching staff was really good. Obviously, we had a much better season than anybody anticipated. But it's also a huge compliment to the coaching staff as a whole, to what Sean Payton's been able to build. So we kind of got to look at it like a compliment. But I'm always very interested to find out who ends up replacing these guys in this role, because even though, inside linebackers coach doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal, special teams coordinator, we've talked about that. It's probably the biggest opening. You've got pass game coordinator now that you got to fill in, and tight ends. Those positional coaches are so imperative to the overall just culture of a building, culture of a team, developing the right habits, the small little things. So I think we'll get some good ones. Sean Payton's got a huge, Rolodex of different coaches that he's worked with that he's going to reach out to. So we'll see how and when it ends up getting filled. I think the Saints head coaching vacancy, they're the last vacancy left. I think that vacancy is really holding up a lot of decisions for the Broncos because there's a lot of connections there still with those guys. If Darren Rizzi doesn't get that job, he can come here and then multiple guys can follow based on who ultimately gets that job. So we will figure it out and we'll have it here live for y'all as well. But yeah, quick video. Let me know what you guys think. Are you concerned about Bo Nix having a minor cleanup procedure? I'm glad that he's doing it now, nice and early. Usually cleanup procedures are probably realistically, if it's actually a minor cleanup procedure, he'll be back to training in, a couple of weeks at most. Sometimes they do it during the season even. So he could realistically be back sooner if he wanted to, but it's good. Bo, listen, Bo, if you're watching this, which 99.9% chance you ain't, take time off, man. Get off your feet. Have yourself a beer. You deserve it on behalf of Broncos country. But all right, guys, more great stuff to come. Stay tuned for a film review that I'm super excited about of free agent wide receiver and my number one wide receiver target for the Broncos, Chris Godwin. We got that cooking up here soon for y'all. Stay tuned for that. And spend time with those that you love the most, man. And have a wonderful day. And as always, go Broncos and peace out.